Welcome to the Sassy Spoon Kitchen. Today we're doing fish and chips. I'm also doing mushy peas, but we're not going to do that in the recipe. So, first thing we're doing is the first fry of the chips, which are actually French fries. I think you probably know that, but in case you don't, that's what they are. So the chips are going in the deep fryer. The first process, which I'm not going to really actually physically show you, was that I cut the potatoes into pieces, and I didn't actually peel them because I mostly cut the peeled parts off in the process of cutting them. So there are some pieces with little bits of peel on them. It doesn't hurt a thing. And then I soaked them in water, just plain water, for about 12 hours, and that took most of the starch out of the, not most of the starch, took a lot of the starch out of the potatoes. And I'm using a deep fryer, but you can just use a pan if you want. You don't have to have a deep fryer to do this. And I have this on a low heat. It's about 220 degrees. That's the first fry. And we're going to put the potatoes in 2 batches into this fryer. Oops, didn't want to do that. And I'm doing them in 2 batches just because I don't want to crowd them. You could put this amount of potatoes, you could put this amount of potatoes in all at once, but I'm going to do them in 2 batches. So we'll come back when both batches have been cooked to the right amount of heat. Okay, each batch has cooked for about 4 or 5 minutes, and the second batch is just about done. Now, how you can tell that the pre-cook is finished is you can stick a fork in these, and they're kind of tender. And that's really what you want to pre-cook your fries. And I have this rack here. If you don't have a rack, you can put them on a plate with paper towels and just let them drain a little bit. That's all you need to do. So now we're gonna cook our fish, and then we're gonna finish cooking the fries. So we're gonna turn it up to about 340 for the fish, and then we're gonna turn it up to about 355 for the finish of the fries. So over here to the fish, I have 2 nice pieces of cod. You can do this recipe with more than 2 pieces. I'm just going to scoot this over a little bit for the cod. And back this up so you can see a little better. So I have 2 pieces of cod. This is fresh cod, but you can use frozen. You can also use some other pieces of white fish, and I'm just putting a little salt on each side. And then we're going to make a batter. I'm going to move the fish out of the way while we make the batter. Move these out of the way as well. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to whip an egg white. I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'm going to make the batter. And one of these has a cup of flour in it, and this has a cup of flour in it as well. This is going to be our dredging flour, and this is, both of them have self-rising flour in them, and we're going to add an additional tablespoon of baking powder to the actual batter that we're going to use, even though self-rising flour has some in it. And we're going to add an additional tablespoon of salt. Keep knocking the basket in there. And then we're going to put some pepper in to both of them. grind that in. And then I've got some really nice beer here. We're going to put in to the batter with the egg white. I'm going to add a little salt to the dredging flour as well. Okay. Just going to use a fork to mix that in right now, and then we're going to use a whisk once we add the egg white and the beer to mix it into our batter. Because we want that to be nice and light. All right, I have 1 egg white whipped here. Be adding that into our batter. First, I'm going to add about a cup or half bottle of the beer. You can use any beer you want. This is a organic lager. It's very light in flavor. My husband drinks mostly alcohol-free beer, and he said it had less flavor than the alcohol-free beer he drinks. He drank some of it for me, so that's kind of interesting. But anyway, you don't use a dark beer for this. And I finished off this bottle. Some recipes have milk or buttermilk in them, but this one does not. So this is actually based on a Gordon Ramsay recipe with the egg white, but he doesn't add much beer to his, so it's a little different. I thought the egg white was an interesting addition. Most recipes have a whole egg in them and not whipped. But this makes kind of a nice light and fluffy batter. And I like that idea. And he also added the extra tablespoon of the baking powder, which should make it rise up nicely. All right, so we have a nice little batter in here. Okay, so I'm going to take these over to the sink, and I'll be right back, and we'll start dipping. We've got a green light on the fryer. I'm going to move these fries so they're not in the way when we take our fish out. We have to put our fish somewhere. And then we'll finish frying the fries. We only have 2 pieces of fish, so I think we'll be okay on that. Okay, I'm going to reverse the dredge and the batter, so we'll be closer to the fryer. All right. Let me see if I've got everything in line here so you can see it. Looks like it is. All right, it's pretty fast and easy setup here. So we've got the salt on the fish, and we're just going to make sure it's very well coated with this dredging flour. Because we only have 2 pieces of fish, we probably could have gotten away with a little less of the flour, but we want it really well coated, and that'll make the batter stick to it better. Okay. Then in goes our messy hand. Only use one hand for this. Okay, in you go. I'm going to do one at a time. Wash the side off. It shouldn't take but about a minute or two to cook each piece. Pretty hot oil. And we can flip it over a little bit, even though this is deep oil. All right, here we are, the last fry of the fries. There's one little sneaky one that got out of the basket there. I'm gonna grab him. So I did the fish, and they're nice and crispy, as you can see, and the fries are, I did the first batch of the second load. I'm gonna just stick them back in real quickly to crisp them because they've been sitting out for a minute. And get them nice and crispy. They're real crispy when they first come out, but if they sit out for too long, they soften up. So we're just gonna get them in there and crisp them up real quickly. And take them out and salt them and serve them. So that's how quick it is. And you can see these were the real thin little fillets of fish, and they really puffed up with that great batter. Really turned out nicely. I'm excited about them. And look how nice the fries turned out. So I'm just going to sit them here on the edge and let them grip. And that's it. We're ready to go. The mushy peas I'm just going to mash. And all they are frozen peas. We add a little pinch of sugar and a little pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then mash them with a potato masher, and a little butter. And that'll be another video. So thanks for watching. Please click on the subscribe button and the like button if you like this video. Thanks a lot. Bye.